Are you consumed by regret? Things that have happened in the past, decisions that you've made that you are disappointed with yourself about and you can't let it go, filled with regret? If so, I've got 3 tips for you. I'm Keeley Taverner, psychotherapist and founder of Key for Change. So my first tip to you would be, try to think about them as disappointments rather than regrets. That's my first tip. Try to think about them as disappointments instead of regrets. Because regret takes us into the shoulda, woulda, couldas, if only. And hindsight is a beautiful thing from the comforts of the present. However, we made the choices we did back then based on the knowledge we had available to us. And if we knew then what we knew now, we would have made different choices. So that's my first tip. Maybe think of them as disappointments rather than regrets. You'll also notice when you think about regrets and you're consumed by that also probably leads you to beat up on yourself. That you'll say things like, your sentences will usually start with shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Not slept with that guy. I shouldn't have loved him as much as I did. If only I could have made better choices. And actually, as a therapist, I'm always paying close attention to my clients when I start hear those words, shoulda, woulda, coulda. They're really important words for me to pay attention to, because usually somebody is beating up on themselves for a past decision. So pay attention to your sentences. Pay attention to the words that you use. My second tip also around that is, unless you have a DeLorean and you can time travel, what is the point of regret? What is the point? So my third tip is, how can you empower yourself by thinking about your regrets and actually, what have I learned from that situation? So that takes you from a point of just melancholy, looking at the past and feeling full of regret, beating up on yourself, full of guilt. We start to think about, okay, so what have I learned from that situation? Now we're starting to empower ourselves. I've learned that, I've learned that, The next step would be, how do you apply that knowledge, that insight in the future in order to not make those same decisions again? What can I learn from that? Those are my 3 tips. I'm Keeley Taverner, psychotherapist, founder of Key for Change. Take care of you, because if you don't, who will?